Okay, so we're going to show you how to set up a meet, so this is at the very beginning, and how to set up your events. Alright, so the first thing is we're in high tech. We need to go to setup right here at the top. Click setup, say meet setup. Alright, now it already has its meet name, but you would type it in, Archbishop McCarthy, home meet, and whatever, or if it's regionals or whatever you're doing. Location, we're in Southwest Florida, then you click on your date. So the date that we already have here is the 19th. Alright, we are in track and field and cross country. This is high school. We want to go to standard meet. It's outdoor and standard meet style, and you say okay. Generally everything should be already clicked, but just to make sure. Alright, then you go, you can do your scoring setup. Alright, so it depends on how big your meet is. If it's like only 4 different teams, your point system needs to be different. Alright, so it would be the 5, 3, 2, 1 setup. Unlike bigger meets where it goes 10, 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that takes you down to 8th place. That's your points. So, we're in like the default setting right now, so you just say okay. Let's see. Alright, that should be good for right now. Let's go to events. So events is actually how you are asking the computer to record and submit everybody's results. So event number 1, alright, that is going to be the girls 4x8. Alright, so it's event you don't have to do the number, it's going to do it already for you, but you see here where it says alt gender, so that means every time I click OK, it's automatically going to bring me to the boys in the same event. Alright, so we're going to start with the girls. Distance, 3,200, because that's a 4x8 is actually 3,200. It's a relay, so we click on relay. Alright, and number of runners is 4. Alright, we want the entries and the results to be in metric. That's going to be different for field events, so you need to double check that. Alright, there's 8 lanes. We advance them by time only. They are assigned by their seed time, and we're going to have standard lanes for this because you shouldn't have more than 8 teams. Alright, the heat order is slow to fast. We want them to score the event. We're only having a final because, you know, you're just generally going to have just a final. Alright, number of lanes and slow to fast, and you're going to say, okay. Alright, so, and then if you are, you know, seeding everything, it's going to bring you automatically to the boys. So boys, 32, relay, 4, 8 lanes, all the same thing, and you say, okay. Now, let me show you if you were to do the hurdles. Alright, so here's the boy hurdles. Alright, so boy hurdles are 110. Girl hurdles would be a 100. Alright, you click on hurdles. You don't need to fill out anything here because you don't have a relay, you don't have a number of people. Metric, alright, number of lanes, everything's okay. You press OK. You do this for all of the events. Same with the girls. Now, when you get to like the mile and the long distance events, alright, same thing, you select your distance, it's a run. Alright, 800 and up is a run. Okay? When you get to like the hundreds and the 200, those are dashes. Same with the 400, but anything more than an 8 is a run. Metric, number of lanes. What we do for 800, mile, 2 mile, is we do alleys. That way they still have an assignment where they need to go, but you can have as many as you want. Okay, finals only, and then we say okay. Alright. Same thing, so here's the 800, it's a run, distance, whatever. Alright, when you get to field events, okay, so here we're in the girls' high jump. Girls, there's no distance, so you click none. You click on the event, so it's high jump. Alright, the entries and the results are in English, okay, because it's done in feet, not by meters. Alright, advancement is by mark, their seed mark. Worst to best is how you want to position them, worst to best, and you say okay. Alright, and you just go through just like that. Here's another example is the discus. There's no distance. You click on the event, in English, worst to best. You say okay. So if you were to do this, if I was to, let's see, let me show you how to seed really quick. Alright, so seeding. Alright, so you've already set up all of your events, okay? There is 34 events in total. So there's boys and a girls event and everything. So there's 34 in total. It's 2 4x8s. Then it goes into the hurdles. Alright, so that's the girls 100 hurdles, the boys 110 hurdles. Then it's the boys and girls 100-meter dash. Then it's the 1600-meter run. Then it's the girls and boys 400-meter relay. Alright, so that's the 4x1. Then it's the 400 dash. Then it's the 300 hurdles, the 800-meter run. Then it's the 200-meter dash, the 3200-meter run, so that's your 2-mile. Then the 4x4 relay or the 1600-meter relay. Alright, and then you can put in your field events. I always put them in at the end, but you can put them in at the beginning if you wish. Okay? So, seating. So the first thing you want to do is, let me go back one click. So you say seating up here. This has already been seated, but I'm going to show you how to do it at the beginning. So you say select all. So now we have them all selected, and you're going to say start seating. Don't worry about this, it's because I already seated it once. Alright, so it will automatically bring in your teams. Alright, so there's only 3 teams, so this is fine, and we're going to say save. Alright, so this is how your lane setups are going to look. Now, you might want to bring people in closer, you know, when the relay. So if you notice what I just did, I left-clicked on the name, and I can just drag it down. Alright, if I want to move it a lane. Say I want McCarthy to be in the center lane, I want Calvary here. So I can move it around like that, and you can switch the order and everything, and then you say save. Alright, and it's just going to bring me through all of them. So I say save. Here's this. Alright, and you do this for every single event. Now, some events you're going to see differently, and I would ask Dean Nicola for advice on how he wants it. Alright, generally you don't want, like in this this race, they have 4 Calvary Christian kids who are all running next to each other. Generally you don't want that. So what you do is you'll say you'll move the kids around so they're not really next to each other. So you kind of want to break them up just a little bit. Alright, and then you just save, and you can move on. Okay, so now I'm in the girls' 1600-meter run. There is 17 entries for this race. You do not want to do more than 1 heat for the mile. Dean Nicola will not let you do more than 1 heat for the mile, and it's annoying to try to fix it later. So what I do is when it comes to number of athletes per section, I'll put in 17 and say okay, so they're all in 1 heat. Alright? Number of alleys, I just put the max just in case. Okay, so now they're all in 1 heat together, and I don't have to worry about it. And it will automatically give them their assignments. And you don't have to worry if they're touching each other because they're all in 1 heat and they're going to separate anyways. And then you just say save. That's probably the hardest part about seating is when you get to the long distance events. You have to worry about seating when you come to the 800, when you come to the 16, when you come to the 32, and when you get to the hundreds, because the hundreds kind of need to be even. Okay, so that's how you do seating very quickly. And you just do each event. It's not difficult. Stop it. When it comes to field events, same thing. Try to put them all in 1 heat. That way everybody's on 1 piece of paper and you don't have to worry about it. Once you seed everybody, you go to reports and you want to print out a meet program. Alright? You want to say select all, create report. Takes a second. Okay. Now you have your heat sheets. Alright, so I'll show you again just really quick. So we seeded all of our events, which you already created. You say reports, say meet program, select all, and then you say create report, and that's going to create your heat sheets. There's also something else you do. Your finish line sheets. Let me tell you, this is really going to help your starter out and your girls who are going to be passing out the numbers. The same thing, you select them all, and then you say create report. That is just individual races, and it's just going to be really easy for them to rip off and go to the next event. Also, your field score sheets you can also create here. One thing I will note is do your boys and girls together, and try not, you can't do all the events at once because it won't let you do vertical and horizontal at the same time. Alright, so if you want your results, your I should say your stadium records, to be posted on your heat sheets and all the event results that you print, what you need to do is you need to import the results that you already have. Alright, so what you do is you come to this little metal here on the high-tech screen. There's already results in here. This is what the finished product is going to look like. But what you're going to do is down here, you're going to say open, alright, and you're going to give your tag a name. So I put in stadium, so we know it's the stadium record. Okay, so I click on stadium, I say okay. Then I come up here, I say import, and there should already be some kind of file already started because I've been keeping them updated. So let's go back so you can see originally where it came from. Oh, that is too far. Let's see, documents. Okay, it's going to be, this is what it's going to look like when you originally come. Alright, so we're in computer, local disk C, TF meets 3, okay? And I already have stadium record tags, and then you look for the most updated one, okay? So here is the stadium record tags. These are actually from regionals, alright? And we click it one more time, open, okay, okay, da-da-da. And here is now all of the updated stadium records. So you look for the most, you look at the dates, see which one you saved last, and then you import those. You have to do that, unfortunately, for every meet. It doesn't just save in there. You have to keep importing them. But it will update it automatically with whatever they got last. So obviously, most of our records got broken at regionals. That makes sense. Some of them did not. Chaminade Madonna, our 100-meter record is still intact, and Sarah Adams, her record's still intact. But anyways, so it's all in here. You can create a report if you want to print these out and hand out to your coaches, okay, or attach to your meet program. You obviously want to save it, all right, and it's just going to save in wherever it wants to save. Okay, but when you write your reports, so you say reports, and let's say we want to do our meet program. At the bottom here, it's already selected where it says formats, columns and formats. You want to click, make sure records are clicked, select all, create report. Gotta take a second. Alright, and then at the top, to make sure that you did it correctly, it should say stadium, time. Sometimes it has a day, sometimes not necessarily. The date, the team, and if it's a relay, the relay team's names. So after your races and stuff like that, you kind of need to double check to make sure that you have your updated results, your stadium records. You should know who breaks the stadium record and who doesn't. So that's how you insert those. Okay, the most important program that I use when we are scoring is the Lynx program, because that's actually where you take your picture and you send it over to the high-tech computer. So this is where you want your coach or your adult to be working. The high-tech computer, you can actually have one of the students do it, and it's not too hard, but this is actually where the technical stuff comes in. So we want to go to our Lynx program, that's down here at the bottom. It will come up like this, where it says, it'll come up, enter the serial number. Only if you get add-ons do you enter a serial number. If not, you just say cancel, cancel, cancel. We don't have any of those things, so we say cancel. Alright, and then it will actually load. Okay, so this is your starter screen. When you get the camera hooked up, you click this button, and it will look for the camera. That is this little red button here. It will go green once it finds it. This little I button here is where you click on the information for your camera. We don't have a camera set in, so you can't really see it. Over here, we have the adjustments. Alright, you can move the camera whichever way, open the iris, close the iris. We have the remote positioner right here. We have find the finish line right here, very nice. We have the auto iris, that's this little button right here, the auto iris. We had some problems with auto iris before where it would make our pictures wash out. So sometimes you want to actually disable the auto iris and manually open or close it more. Okay, and this is where you can zoom in or zoom out. So that is all just practice makes perfect. The more experience you get, the more you know, do I need to open my iris? Do I need to close my iris? Okay? The most important thing when you're in Finish Links and setting it up is actually loading the schedule. And that doesn't sound like it's a lot, but sometimes you totally forget, how do I load the schedule? Okay? You gotta make sure that the computers are connected to each other, that they are under a shared folder, which I've already done, and you don't need to really touch it at all. You go here to where you see this little like filing bin and it has a question mark. You click on that. Alright, this will pop up. You say load schedule. Okay, goes down, and as you already see, there's already events that are loaded. Okay, and as if you just saw, I just clicked on an event. Alright, so when you come into load schedule, the very first race you're going to have is the girls 4x8. Generally, this will be in order. This schedule is actually from regional, so it's a little out of order, but generally it will go in the order that the events are actually running. So you'll say load schedule, so this is the girls 4x8. Again, if it's in order, it's pretty awesome. All you have to do is click on here to go to the next event, and it'll automatically bring you to the boys event in that whatever event it is. So here's all the people who are in the event. Now, when you are actually doing a meet and you get a picture, you have your little button here sometimes. Sometimes you might have the auto capture on. I don't know which one you're going to prefer. I prefer the button because I like to have control over it. You press the button when they're going past the finish line, that's saying, okay, take the picture now, and you release it when they've all crossed. The auto iris, it's automatically going to take the picture as soon as somebody gets close to that line, which is very nice. I have not been able to use it though. So let's look at what a picture looks like and how you're going to score it. So I'm going to pull up the boys 4x8. Alright, so here's all my competitors up here. This is what my picture is going to look like. With this picture, I can tell this is the track because it's black and the lines are white. What you're going to see is actually the opposite. The track is going to be white and the lines are going to be black. Don't ask me why it's reversed. I couldn't tell you. Okay? You're going to go to the very front of your picture. Alright, so this dotted line, this line here is where I first opened the iris, and here's my competitor right here. I'm taking my mouse and I'm left clicking and dragging this red line to where I see my competitor, okay? You want to place the red line on the chest, not in the middle of the chest, but at the very tip of the chest, okay? And that is actually where he's crossing the finish line. It's not whatever's first, it's not his foot, it's not his head, it's his chest. Alright, once you do that, you put in the competitor number. Now, since we're in the 4x8, everybody's going to be ending in lane 1. So what's really important is that you can see either their hip number, which he's number 5, or you have an awesome team down on the field who are actually getting the numbers of all the competitors as they cross. Alright, they don't need to get times, they don't need to get names. What's important is hip numbers. That is all you want from them. Numbers. Okay, emphasize that to them. So anyways, he's 5, so I'm going to go on my keyboard, I'm going to type in 5, and then I'm going to say enter. And that will automatically bring up his name and his time. Okay, so if I continue, alright, I can see that this guy is 4, so I go to his chest, I say 4, enter. Alright, and I can't see a hip number here, so that is when your team comes into play. And that's also when those that finish line report that we printed out, that's also going to help a lot because then they'll have all the numbers too. So I can see this guy is 2, 2, enter, and so on and so forth. Alright, let's look at something that's a little bit more fun. Let's look at the 100. That is always so much fun to look at. Alright, hold on a second. File, open. And I'm actually going to look at the... Okay. Yeah, this is what it looks like. Alright, so I'm at 75% right now if you want to zoom out a little bit, but we're going to go to 100 for our purposes. So, here is the 100-meter dash. Yeah, they're all pretty darn close. So you go to their chest. Alright, so first I find their chest. Then what you do is, see this little crossbar? You can bring that down into where they're laying. So I know he is kind of floating here in the middle of lane 4. So I'm like, okay, so he's 4, enter. Okay, now if you get somebody like this guy, he's kind of floating in like no man's land. And you're like, okay, is he at 2, is he at 1? Well, look where his feet are landing. So he would be in lane 1. Alright, because he's too low to be in lane 2. So he's 1, enter. So I would start from the bottom and figure it out. So he's 1, he would be lane 2, he would be lane 3, he's 4, this guy's lane 5, this one would be 6, 7, oh, 7 got disqualified in this one, or did not start. And then this guy's lane 8. Yes, I know the picture got cut off, your picture will be better. Okay, so that is an example of actually a quite spaced out 100, and I'll show you a little bit harder of a 100. This was the finals for the boys 100 meter, and as you can see, it gets quite claustrophobic at the front. So this is what you're going to get. Sometimes you're going to have to distinguish, you know, what's a body part, what's a head, what's a chest. But this is what it's going to look like, and it's actually going to have to break down to the 100th of a second. Alright, when you get long distance events, this is actually the 2 mile. Please be aware that kids are going to get laughed, especially when you get like a homie with like a lot of kids who aren't, you know, super duper fast. So you need to make sure that when your team is down there, they know, hey, somebody got skipped, he's going to be in your picture. So it's going to have one super duper long picture. What you can do is you can actually cut out some of this image. If you have the auto capture, you don't have to worry about this. But what you actually do is you right click and you kind of drag it and you say crop, and that's going to actually take out that picture. Okay? Also, to kind of help out your people who are doing high tech, if you know, somebody didn't finish, didn't start, or whatever, what you do is you click on their name, you say status, and you can say either did not start, false start, did not finish, disqualified, scratched, or advanced. And yes, it does make a difference if you say a kid didn't start rather than he did not finish. Alright, because sometimes they'll get DQ'd for the rest of the meet if they didn't start the race. Okay, and that will kind of help out your score later. When you are done scoring an event, alright, you go to the next event. It says, event save before closing. Always save before closing. Always. Never, ever, 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 ever say no. Because the picture will disappear and you'll never see it again. As long as you messed up and you're like, crap, I messed up, say, always save it and then go back to it later. Always, always save. Repeat with me. No, I'm not going to make you repeat, but I'm telling you, dear God, always say yes. Always. Alright, now I'm actually not going to save it because this is for the regionals and just in case I have to keep it the way it is. But anyways, always say yes. And then you can find it later. I've been showing you pictures that have already been taken, but let me just go through right now if you haven't been catching on. So to load an event, you come up here and you load the event. To find a picture, so after the races are done and you want to go back and look at a picture, you go File, Open. No. Alright. And then your events will be already in there. And then you click on whatever it is and it'll bring up that picture that you already saved. Okay? And when you actually save this, you want to save it in your current meet file. And that will bring all of your files together, all your pictures together, and it'll be a lot easier when you go to move it into its own folder later. Alright? So I think that is all I have to show you guys. I hope you had fun.